good morning everyone. I hope you can see me. It's still a bit dark. Thanks for joining me again. A quick little expedition this morning. I wasn't actually planning on coming to shoot, but I noticed some interesting clouds this morning when I woke up rather early. Was woken up by my cats demanding food, so here I am, thanks to the cats. Yes, unfortunately some of the clouds have moved away already, but I still think there's a bit of a hope for a sunrise. I'm here on a hill looking towards the Baviaans Mountains, or the Winterberg Mountains actually, hoping for a sunrise over one of the high peaks with a bit of cloud interest. But let's see what we can get. Again, thanks for joining me on this little adventure. Hope you enjoy it. Let me just show you what I'm seeing at the moment in the distance. You can see we've got some clouds on the horizon. That's facing directly east where the sun's going to rise. And if we move slightly to the left, more north, you'll see there are more clouds there over the mountains. Maybe with a bit of luck we'll get some color over there, but no guarantees. And then yes, more towards the south, it's almost completely clear, other than a few clouds on the mountains. And then on the other side, west, we've got another interesting bank of clouds, so maybe with a bit of luck we'll get some nice color on there as well. I haven't found any real foreground interest other than some bushes here, so I think this is going to be more an image that is based on color and shapes in the sky. There are a couple of aloes around, so maybe I can do something with that, but I'll have to see. You can see here in the foreground we've got some aloes, but they're not particularly nice this time of the year. They've already flowered and they've got seeds, but maybe there's something useful there. But let's see what we can find now. We just need the sun to cooperate. We always live in hope. Not a lot of color in the sky at the moment. I'm really hoping this is going to improve, but I think unfortunately we might have a bank of clouds right on the horizon where the sun's going to rise. But I will persist and not give up till the sun is really up. I made the mistake last night. I went out for sunset, which appeared very promising, and it turned out to be very grey and dull and only a bit of colour. So about 5 minutes or so, and it was very cold and windy, about 4 or 5 minutes after sunset, or what was supposed to be sunset, I couldn't see the sun. I gave up, packed up, drove home, and on my way suddenly bang, there was this huge, almost a flash, and everything turned pink and red and absolutely gorgeous. Of course my camera was packed away and I was in the middle of nowhere, so it was a bit disappointing. I haven't even looked at the other images I took from last night. I was so disappointed, but hey, that's the way it is. Next time, dress warmer and hang around longer. That's what I learned from last night's little episode. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. I'm dressed warmer and I'm going to hang around longer. This is what I'm really looking at. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner, basically on the bottom third, and there's a peak. You can just distinguish it bluish against the grey clouds. It's called Coxcomb. It looks like a coxcomb. One of the highest peaks in the area. Under correction, about 1,760 meters plus minus, something like that. So and sometimes it can produce some really spectacular clouds rolling over it. This morning the clouds are a bit high, but there are a few fluffy ones around it. And as you can see towards the right hand side, there is a bit of color appearing. But I'm hoping that the sun will actually appear underneath the clouds to light them up. But let's see what happens. Otherwise from here, clouds and mountains to my left and to my right. Somewhere something's got to happen. Well, so far no great balls of fire in the sky, but yeah, a little bit of color. I think while I'm waiting for the color to change, I'm busy shooting a time lapse as well, hoping for some cloud action over the distant mountains. But so far there's not really enough wind for some serious action, but still worth a try. I haven't done a lot of time lapses in the past, so I think it's time to practice a bit to get used to that. But while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to explore a bit. This is an area where I seldom come. I think I've only been here once before, and I see a lot of interesting aloes around here. There's a whole bunch of them over here, so I'm gonna have a look and see if I can find compositions It'll mostly work, I think, for sunrise, but also potentially for sunset, for some foreground interest with the aloes. It's a nice little hill. It's actually a beautiful view from here. I can see the local town from here, which is about 2 kilometers away. There's also a hotel not so far from here where they have cabaret performances, I think once a week. Apparently quite a nice place. I haven't been there before. But yes, let's investigate a bit and see if there's anything else. Even if I don't get any serious images today, maybe I can find a location for some shooting in the future. Just look at this interesting bush. It's got some really interesting shapes. This is what's called a speckboom. Apparently it is one of the world's most efficient carbon converters. It takes carbon from the air and converts it into, well, plant material, obviously, and then it generates a lot of oxygen. But this particular sample here is actually quite small, and it's obviously had a hard life. It's on a very exposed spot here, but I think even more importantly in this area, what happens to them is they get eaten by the kudu, large antelope, and they actually almost kill them every year. But this one is just starting to recover again. We need a bit of rain. This is late spring, early summer, even though it's still quite cold. But with a bit of luck, we'll get a bit of rain, and then this guy will flourish again. But they're actually beautiful trees, and you can also eat the leaves, and the guys even make chutney from the leaves and use it in all kinds of recipes. So it's a very succulent plant that holds a lot of moisture. Really not much color in the sky, and we're now past official sunrise. I think a few rays are trying to break through just to the left of my composition here, but the clouds over the mountain, they are not really lighting up, so I think this might be a bit of a exercise in fruitlessness, but still, what can we do? There are a few other clouds to my right, which is south, that are starting to light up. Maybe I need to aim that direction and not just hang on to my pre-planned composition. This is directly where the sun is rising, pointing towards the sunrise. You can see there are a few little breaks in the cloud, and bottom center there's a bit of a light ray that goes down onto the mountain, shines onto the mountain, but it's unfortunately on the other side of the mountain. But it's actually quite nice. But this is at 200 millimeters. I wish I had a longer lens with me. Shooting it at f8, 1/60th of a second, ISO 100. But it would have been maybe even up to a 400 millimeter lens would have been nicer. But I'll see what it looks like cropped. I do have 61 megapixels to play with, so maybe I can still get a decent image out of this. It's worth a try. Better than nothing. While still waiting for the sunrise, and my time lapse is still going. I don't know how much success it is actually having. You can see the image that I'm looking at. Just a distant mountain, shooting this at 105 millimeters on a crop sensor. So hoping for some action there in the clouds, but so far not much. And also the wind is there's quite a bit of movement on this tripod due to the wind. So I'm not sure how well this time lapse is going to be, how good it's going to be. But yes, we'll see. If you don't try and don't experiment, you will never learn. Some really interesting shapes in the clouds. Look at that cloud right in the middle of the image. It's gorgeous. I just wish it would catch a bit more light. The edges are slightly lit up, which is nice, but I would love a bit more light. But it's probably going to break through towards the top between the clouds, the sun, and then it'll actually just be too bright in that direction. But first time I've seen one of those clouds over that particular mountain. There must be quite a bit more wind on the higher levels than down here. It's probably about, I would say, 10 knots gusting, 15 on the ground here, but up there probably a lot more. Wow, look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous, especially towards the bottom half of the image. Again, I wish I had a longer lens here, 200 millimeters, but with a bit of cropping, I think I can probably get an image here that's worthwhile. But yeah, if it does work out, you'll see it right now. Changed my composition slightly now. I've lowered the camera a bit, or aimed a bit lower, to exclude the very bright bit in the sky above and just capture the little bits of sun shining through the clouds in the distance. I think this is actually quite a nice composition. I love the leading line that goes from about halfway up the mountain ridge on the left hand side and then drops towards the right. It leads your eye towards this area of light rays, and the light rays are radiating straight down in the middle and more towards slanted about 45 degrees towards the right, or pointing towards the horizon. And there's another patch of light now coming through top right hand corner through a little gap in the cloud. Let me quickly capture that. Well, I think that's really it for this morning. The sun has now broken through. As you can see, it's quite a bit lighter now, and the colors in the sky have disappeared. The sun rays have disappeared. My time lapse is still running, but I'm not holding high hopes that there's going to be any serious result from that. But it was a nice outing, and thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Maybe next time we'll get more light, but the light ray specifically this morning was quite spectacular, I think. Breaking through the clouds, something I haven't seen for a while, because we normally have tiny fluffy clouds or absolute solid cloud cover. Now this morning it was more broken with slots in it. Interesting. But thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please click like, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. Then you'll be alerted of all my future videos that I try and release at least semi-regularly. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. My details are below if you want to contact me or acquire any of my images. Have a great day. Stay happy, stay healthy. Till next time. Cheers.